So just so you know, I'll just be basically introducing. So you have to keep it on the wall. Yeah, it'll be really informative for them. Yeah, totally up to you. I have a little spiel, but since you know him better, I was just gonna say, Dr. Robinson. I was just saying his title's in former responsible executive officer for the pilot program, but you can also just introduce him, and then I can take care of Dr. Robinson. Do you want to just fully introduce him, and then I'll pick up from there? So why don't do you want me to still say this, or I think you do just a fine job of just introducing solely. Yeah, you can say the title. You can like say the title, so you can have it here so you get all his titles. But I think it'd be more meaningful for you to introduce him.
Okay.
Since you've known it for a while.
So we can put it here.
Yeah. So I need to stand back from the mic a bit. So you'll do this one, and I'll take over from there after Dr. Robinson. Thank you. Yeah, we had about 100 students, and we have about 213 guests and 300 chairs. So we have, I think the room will definitely be filled. Yeah. It's great. We had so many volunteers here, starting like 8:30 this morning. There's a good 20 of us show up right on time. Oh yeah, it was totally. We had too many hands at least, but it was great just for everyone to be here. Yeah, this year we have them send some, so we're gonna play this slideshow again during the last a cappella performance. Yeah. This last year they can put pictures in the invitation we said you can also bring physical copies if you like one or two. Good morning, Jessica. How are you? Yeah.
Oh gosh.
You know what? Every once in a while I put myself together for something special. Yeah, I'm actually in the NICU right now, so I actually have to quickly put some together. Yeah.
Everyone loves that.
Absolutely. So I know so this is it. Yeah, she like specifically requested that. I was like, that's not cool, Grandma. So I told her I was like, she was, yeah, absolutely. She did. You're up to date. We're ready. Anyways, I'll let you just like move your body. It doesn't change. That's true. That's absolutely true. I told the first thing.
Sarah.
You remember which ones are
Yeah. We'll just get this to her when we'll just get it for her when okay, we'll just like remember to grab the mic from here and the mic from Caleb said he doesn't want to. No, we just wanted to figure out if we should set this stuff up now or later. We'll just set it up before we get it.
all the speakers are using this mic, and then acapella are all can use the wireless one. So we just need to one of us needs to switch it over once we need it.
Actually, all of it is controlled. It's all we just need to get
Perfect. Good morning. Of course, thank you for coming. Oh, that's fine. I mean, yeah. I mean, we definitely wanted to start extending these ways this year and at the end of the day. And then in the future, you know, we'll let you guys know earlier. Yeah. Thank you. Wherever in a few minutes as the guests take their seats, and then afterwards refreshments.
Was to silence my phone before my daughter starts.
I can tap you, and then you can just end when it's appropriate. Right now it's on, so don't get too close to the top. It's on right now, so
Can I just leave it here?
yeah, okay, wherever you want. And then during your actual thing, you can like have it here, wherever you want. And just so you know your cue, I'm just gonna go in between a lot of the people, and I'll just introduce you. We'll probably give another sort of reflection, and I'll say hello. That's your cue. No, anywhere you like. Okay.
Looking at it.
I printed this out in case you guys didn't get a program because I was worried there was going to be enough. But just so that Max know if you see it, or I'll let him know that there's like 2 copies of this that you guys can each have. And Max doesn't have a program. That was it.
You just do two.
Yeah, just this. There's this half, and then we're doing Sarah and I are doing this half. And the other thing is one of you. I wrote a little thing here for one of you to say, like in the transition. So this is after Dave Harrison, so that's the guy in the front row there. He's a 2015 alumni. So I'm going to introduce him, but since you guys are first reading the names, I think it makes more sense for one, either you or Max. So say, since you're here, yeah. And then just start the names from there.
Yep.
And then also before, so I also am going to transition to playing the music for this part of the program. So maybe just let me first, or just so you know, I'll be changing something up here to get the tree PowerPoint up, and for the classical background.
Okay, so as soon as Dr. Harrison's done, we just walk up.
Yeah, you, Max, and I will walk up. I'll change.
You'll be doing that while we're
I'll
saying.
change the thing. Yeah, you can even just give me like 5 seconds to change it. If like I'm in the way of you like talking to the microphone, so maybe give me like 5 seconds just to change it, and then you can say that. I think that's it, and then we'll finish it, and then I'll take it from there, and then I'll introduce the last person.
Great.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Oh, are you and Sarah going to come up? Wow. We should all just come up.
Yeah, I thought I and then Good morning. Good morning, deans, faculty, staff, medical and dental students, and of course our distinguished guests. Welcome to the David Geffen School of Medicine at UCLA's Ceremony of Thanks. My name is Christos Havalis, a first-year medical student here at UCLA. On behalf of the first-year medical and dental students, it is such a privilege to welcome you all today to our school and to our community. This ceremony is a momentous day for those in the UCLA Donated Body Program, which includes Mr. Dean Fisher, Mr. Travis Seams, and Ms. Nikki Harris. Also for our anatomy faculty, our wonderful staff, and our students, because we all have the opportunity to connect and to express our gratitude to both our donors and to you, their family and friends. Throughout our first year of medical and dental training, we spent countless of hours in lectures and in the anatomy lab learning about human physiology and disease. But outside of the books, we've learned the most from our donors, who've truly been our best teachers. We've been transformed by the humbling interactions with your loved ones, for their selfless gift has inspired us and forever shaped our outlook on teaching, generosity, and life itself. Your loved ones have been our teachers and role models for how to live a life of purpose and meaning. They taught us that we have a purposes greater than ourselves. For our lives are stories that we author, and the stories of our donors are remarkable because they transcend the human experience in a unique way. Each and every one tells us a unique set of stories embedded with their own wisdom and wonders. Their stories and teachings will continue on through family and friends and through the future generations of healthcare professionals. Our donors' extraordinary narratives are about offering themselves to us, people whom they will never meet, but entrusting in us, believing in us. It's a true testament to the strength of humanity. It leaves us, the students, as the readers and the onlookers, energized to contribute to this legacy of altruism. Every single donor and each of their families, through their selflessness and their trust, help to train the next generation of healthcare providers, from medical students to dental students to current residents and physicians, year after year. Now, imagine the magnitude of the gift that they have bestowed upon us. The knowledge they provide by showing us the miracle of the human body will be used for healing human lives. Your loved ones' final gifts were not only to our community, but truly they were an offering to the world. I'd now like to say a few words directly to our remarkable donors. We thank you for teaching us this past year. We thank you for showing us the impact one's life can have. We thank you for inspiring us today, tomorrow, and in our future careers. We will hold you in our thoughts and close to our hearts as we follow your lead in giving all we have to this world and our fellow humans. Your beauty and selflessness will live on in your family and friends and all of us that you have touched. And it will live on in the classes of 2021 as we are reminded by you in each and every patient that we see. We will honor you as we, too, hope and will strive to live similar stories by one day benefiting the lives of our future patients. As the ceremony continues this morning, you will hear from several students, faculty, and alumni expressing their appreciation for the gifts that we've been given. But we're also here today because we want to see you, listen to you, and feel the presence of you and your loved ones. Thank you all for coming today and already for sharing some of your photos, words, and memories with us. We look forward to learning more and speaking with you. I now have the honor of introducing Dr. Elena Stark, Professor of Pathology and the Vice Chair for Medical and Dental Education here at UCLA. Throughout this year, Dr. Stark and all of the anatomy faculty and staff have guided us in our anatomy training, teaching us the science and art of the field. Dr. Stark's respect and commitment to our donors have been instilled in all of us for the rest of our lives. Dr. Stark.
I'm short, so I have to bring my table down. Thank you, Christos, and thank you to our wonderful students for organizing this ceremony with so much sensitivity and taste and dedication. They've been working on this for months, and it shows. It's beautiful. Thank you very much. I would like to welcome all of you, families of our wonderful donors. I'm the chair of anatomy here in our school, and on behalf of our entire faculty and our staff, I would like to welcome you and thank you. Thank you for coming to UCLA. I know some of you came from far and away, and some of you came from nearby, but we are grateful that each and every one of you came today to be with us as we express our gratitude for your loved one's gift to our university, and as we celebrate both the generosity and the altruism of each and every one of your loved ones. I am the director of a lab where a good number of the bodies that are donated to our school are used. And so I would like to tell you a little bit about what we do, the benefits that your loved one's donation offered to our school, and also especially I would like to tell you something that I would like to hear if I was in your seat, and that is the ethics with which my loved one's gift was treated. So I will tell you a little bit about that as well. So first of all, how do we use our donors' gifts? Well, mainly for two purposes. One, for education, and secondly, for research. We actually do a lot of research with our donors' remains. I will tell you a little bit about that. The most important thing that we do is education. Your loved one's gift contributed to the education of some of the finest medical and dental students in our country. And I know I'm biased, but they really are. We have representatives here today from both schools. Also, of health professionals, of the faculty in our school, the faculty in our hospitals, in our affiliated hospitals, and here in the big hospital across the street, they also train with our donors' remains in several labs. Mine is one of them. It is indisputable, in my opinion, as chair of anatomy, that we could not teach anatomy to our students the way we do if it was not for your loved one's donation. Anatomy is one of the building blocks of medicine. How can one be a good doctor if one has no knowledge of the human body? How could one understand disease if one doesn't know what the healthy human body looks like? And further, how could one understand how to treat the diseased body if one doesn't have a thorough and detailed knowledge of the anatomy of the human body, the real human body? Right? That's kind of self-explanatory. We just simply could not teach them the way we do. So there is no question in my mind that human real bodies are necessary. Now, with the advance of technology, schools now, some schools, most schools actually, we do too, have incorporated tools such as 3D models and virtual holograms of dissected bodies, etc. And those are very useful, and we may use them in the future as well, and many schools do. But nothing can replace human specimens when it comes to the learning of anatomy. Why? Because patients are not holograms, and patients are not 3D models. When a surgeon goes to a patient to perform a surgical procedure, that surgeon better know what the real body looks like. If that surgeon just trained with 3D holograms in space, how would that professional be able to perform the job that they have to do well? I have not yet found one single clinician, especially surgeons, and professionals in the field of internal medicine that disagree with the fact that without human remains, anatomy could not be taught in an efficient way. So some schools tried in the past to eliminate the anatomy labs and to eliminate the use of cadavers. I was on a trip years ago to Europe, and some of my colleagues said that their schools were trying to eliminate the use of the cadavers, and actually some schools did. And what happened was very interesting. When the students who had gone through medical school without the use of cadavers and specimens in the anatomy lab, when they graduated and they were residents, they realized that by comparison to their fellow residents who had studied anatomy in the anatomy lab, they were not as competent. And so these students got together and went back to the schools and said, you have to bring the anatomy lab back. You have to bring the human remains back. You have to teach medical students and dental students anatomy with the real remains of real human bodies. So that was an interesting experience. But not only we need human remains to educate our students, also, as I mentioned earlier, to help our faculty in their development, and specifically in the development of medical innovations, such as what? Well, for example, transplants, right? Or new surgical techniques, or new emergency medicine techniques. All of those innovations are going to require the use of the human cadavers, because all of those have to be tried many, many times and rehearsed many, many times before they are used in live patients. They have to be tried in the anatomy lab. So it's not only for students, it's also for the faculty of our school. I will take this opportunity to thank the leadership of our school. They are very, very generous in supporting the anatomy lab, and I hope that they continue to do so over the years. Beyond education, I would like to give you some very brief examples of how donated bodies are used for research advances. These research activities can be grouped into 3 main categories, and I will go through these pretty fast, and then at the end of the ceremony, please approach me if you have questions, or if you want more details, or you want specifics about different studies that we have, and I will be more than happy to talk to you about them. But basically, there are 3 categories of research projects. One is the study of variations. Well, the human bodies not all are identical, right? Yes, some organs tend to be in the same location, and arteries and nerves tend to branch this way or the other, but there are many variations. Who needs to know about these variations? Well, mainly surgeons. Surgeons need to know that this particular artery that's usually here that looks this way, 20% of the cases, it may be somewhere else, or it may be it may have a different pattern of branching or whatever. So when they do a surgical procedure, they are prepared for those possible variations. So we actually publish many studies in surgical journals, and we document all of these variations that we find. We also document the healthy, or the normal, I should say, the normal pattern of things like nerve plexuses. These are collections of nerves that tend to be together in a particular location, and we document all the possible variations of those. For example, I'll just give you a very quick example. We published a study that's still the largest in the world, with the largest number of specimens, on what we call the lumbar plexus. The students remember I told them that. And so that was very much used by many surgeons. We know because we get feedback and correspondence from them on how useful it was to know all the possible variations as they approach that area of these particular nerves are in the abdomen. So anyway, that's one area of research. The second category of research advances our donors' remains are used for is in the development of new surgical techniques, like I mentioned a little bit earlier, especially organ transplants. Here at UCLA, we have very, very extensive programs on transplants of organs. You may have heard of face transplant and hand transplants that have been tried here in our campus. So sometimes, most of the times, new surgical approaches have to be tried in donated bodies many times before they can be tried in live patients. Clinicians must rehearse new surgical and emergency medicine procedures that soon will be ready to be implemented with live patients. Thanks to your loved ones' donation of their body, many people in the world will live better lives. And many people in the world will be successfully treated of their illnesses. Why? Because those techniques will not be tried for the first time in live patients, but they were tried first in some of your loved ones' remains. Now, if I were in your place, I would like to know if my loved ones' remains were treated respectfully. And my guess is that many of you would like to know about that. So please know that from day one, the students know the expectation, and the students know that the bar is very high. Yes, students? Yes. So I'd like to assure you that in our school, as a person responsible for that, I would like to assure you that in our school, there is a culture that emphasizes treating our donors' remains with respect, with gratitude, and with professionalism. Is that true? Yes. So this starts at the top with Dr. Robinson, who's sitting over here. You'll hear a few words from him now in a couple of minutes. He is the responsible executive officer of the UCLA Donated Body Program. And he's one of the most respectful people I have ever met in my life, and one of the people with the highest ethical standards that I've met in my life. He knows that. And so that respect and professionalism extends to our faculty, to our staff, including the Donated Body Program staff, whom I would like to acknowledge. Christos mentioned their names before, but I would like you to put the face with the name because they are incredible. And please, Nikki, yes, Travis, Dean, and Alex, over there. These four people are amazing. They are professional, they are incredible, and they are the ones who prepare our donors' remains and care for them, etc. And today, I will say that we are grateful to have the director of the UC Donated Body Program, Miss Brandy Smith. Where are you, Brandy? Over here. Yes, thank you for coming. Yes, and she oversees all the donated body programs in the state. So thank you for coming. Thank you very much. In the laboratory, that culture of respect and gratitude and professionalism prevails to our wonderful students. When they start medical school and before they set foot in the lab, we have a little meeting where I get really serious and where I tell them that the expectation is high, that our donors' remains will be treated professionally and with sensitivity, and that I would like them to treat our donors' remains in the same exact way that they would like a medical student in any other school to treat the remains of their own loved ones. Did I say that? Yes. And they listen. And they are extremely respectful. And they know that anything other than respect and gratitude just will not be tolerated. So that's pretty much the culture that we have here. You will get to meet our students at the end of the ceremony. Please talk to them, get to know them, mingle with them. They are wonderful students. They will be wonderful doctors. And I would like you to see firsthand the kind of people that they are. And that will give you assurance, as it would give me if I were in your seat, that my loved ones' remains were treated well. In closing, I will say that a wish of your loved one was that we put their gift to good use. I believe that they would be proud. And I hope you are proud of them. Their gift has been used to educate some of the finest health professionals, and their gift has been used to advance medical science, to improve and save the lives of many. The memory of your loved ones lives in our students, but not only in our students, also in our faculty and in our school community, and forever will. A student wrote something last year that I thought was really lovely, and I'm going to quote. He said, "The memory of your loved one will live on in each patient I treat." I believe that the memory of your loved one will live on, consciously or unconsciously, in the memory of each of the patients that each of our students treats in their professional lives. It is our privilege to have you here in our school today and to get to meet you and honor your loved ones together. I hope you will stay for a little while when the ceremony is over and mingle with the students and with us and ask any questions that you may have. Now I would like to introduce Dr. Robinson. He is our Senior Associate Dean and Vice Chancellor, and he is one of the most ethical people that, as I said earlier, I don't mean to repeat myself, but he's one of the most ethical people that I have ever met. We are very, very grateful and fortunate to work with him, and we are very grateful and fortunate that he is the responsible officer of our donated body program here. Dr. Robinson. How tall are you? Is this good?
Wherever. All right, thank you. Thank you, Elena. You know, every time when I hear her give that presentation, I think you can all understand how we in the administration feel that we have such a perfect special person leading our anatomy program, and it just gives me pleasure every year. Well, I interact with her more than just once a year, but it gives me pleasure. It gives me pleasure to hear her talk and to recognize her sincerity. I'd like to give you a little bit of history of these ceremonies. Back when I first came to this medical school, it's quite a long time ago, as a faculty member, we didn't have a formal ceremony, but the students themselves organized a ceremony, and they would just have it in the student lounge. And they would get together on their own, they picked a time, they got together on their own. They would read materials, memory materials, like some of the things that are in your program today. Someone would play an instrument, they would sing, they would say prayers, and it was all done very informally. I attended a number of those, not as a participant, as an observer. And it was several years later that we began to formalize it, and then the first couple of years we just had it in a more formal way, and then we decided to invite families. And that has been such a wonderful addition to this program, to have all of you come here. And as we have said and will say throughout this is a ceremony of thanks. We are thanking you for the loved one who gave their body for this program. Now each year, so these first year students are moving on, they'll go into the next stage of their education, and this time of year I always think about graduation, and when you think about when you graduated from medical school, you think about, what was medical school like when I was a student? What's it like? What's medicine like now? Well, when I was a medical student, we didn't Every X-ray was on a piece of plastic on digital X-rays weren't known. It was a silver emulsion on a piece of plastic that we would hold up and try to figure out what was inside the body. We had no CT scans, no MRI scans, no PET scans. These came much later, and they were first done with a human body. That's how all of those scans were developed. I remember the very first time I saw the MRI of a head. I was examining a patient who had a pituitary tumor, and I was looking at this MRI scan with a young neurosurgeon about the same age as me at that time. And we were looking at this together. It was the first time he had ever seen an MRI of the head also. And we looked at it, and there was so much detail that he said to me, you know, I almost feel like this is more of the inside of that person than I should be allowed to see. But of course, now it's routine. We use MRIs to recognize tumors, to follow stroke patients, so it's become normal. There was no electronic medical record. Electric to me was how I plugged in the reading light. I wrote all my notes in longhand. They were stored in big folders, and vast new quantities of drugs have been developed, new treatments have been developed. So much has changed. The one thing that hasn't changed is the human body. The heart's in the same place, the lungs are in the same place, the liver's in the same place, the kidneys are in the same place as when I learned anatomy. Muscles and bones are identical. Of all the things I learned in medical school, anatomy is still the same. I've gone on and specialized in other things, but I still know the human body. I still can teach anatomy. That has not changed. So if our school received a gift of a bunch of medical textbooks, they would be out of date by the time we put them into the library. If we received a bunch of microscopes, we would say, well, in pathology now, we use one camera scope and we show it on a screen so that we all see the same thing at the same time. But if our school receives the gift of a human body, it is up to date, it is accurate, and it is beautiful. Students learn from the human body exactly the way I learned from the human body. As Elena said, there are all kinds of new techniques, especially surgical techniques that are tried out on the human body, and all of this is possible because the human body is still the same. And the gift of a human body is a treasured resource that gives new knowledge long after that patient has died and that donor body has been used. That knowledge goes on and on. So I want to give you my thanks, and I give thanks to all the generous and unselfish persons who make such a gift. So thank you, family, and thank you for hearing me.
Thank you, Dr. Robinson. We would now like to invite Dana Song from our first year class to share a poem which she wrote herself, expressing her gratitude for our donors. If you would like to follow along, the words can be found on the second to last page of your programs. Dana?
Thank you, Christos, and thank you, everybody, for coming here today. Let me preface this by saying that this was very difficult for me to start writing. I was never a great writer to begin with, but this was especially difficult because this meant a lot to me. And when something means a lot to you, it's hard to express how you're truly feeling just using words. But hopefully, this can give a glimpse of how truly thankful I am and how truly thankful we all are. Sometimes I wonder if gratitude is enough, as I ponder about the lives of the selfless, their hobbies, their personalities, their dreams, and how they impacted the people around them. Sometimes I wonder if gratitude is enough, as our bodies carry so much meaning in us, and yet our donors and their loved ones provided us with the most altruistic gift of all. Sometimes I wonder if gratitude is enough, as our classmates and I have been bestowed the gift of lifelong learning and meaning, which will better us in medicine and in life. But while I wonder if gratitude is ever enough, I am certain that I will share with my future patients the selflessness and the compassion that our donors have shared with us. Thank you.
Thank you, Dana. Next, we have Jessica Wu on violin, accompanied by Brian Zukotinsky on piano, performing Meditation des Thais. Thank you so much, Brian and Jessica. Next, we would like to invite another first-year medical student, Kate Makaroff, to share her own personal reflection that she wrote. If you would like to follow along, please turn to the third page in your program after the reading of the names. Kate?
Be gentle and learn as much as you can. These were the words of a donor, which we heard in a video at the beginning of the year. At the time, I sat in the back of the auditorium and choked back a tear. I'll admit now that I was chock full of fear. This was no longer a book that I could pull from the shelf. This was my first patient, an individual who had been so generous as to donate themselves. I promised then and there to be gentle indeed. From that moment onward, to learn as much as I could, these words I would heed. I quickly saw that the body is endlessly delicate and beautiful, a true masterpiece. Endless dedication, repetition, and respect I did need. Yes, we learned about the beauty and detail of every muscle, organ, nerve, artery, and vein. Still, that donor's words replayed in my head again and again. Be gentle and learn as much as you can. With this knowledge, of course, I am another step closer to becoming a doctor than the year before, but now I also realize that the donor's words meant so much more. An important reminder, especially as we earn our degrees as doctors and strive for success, something so easy to lose sight of when we succumb to our stress. See, these donors taught me that our impact can be felt much longer than we live, and that life should not be measured by years on this earth, titles, or accolades, but by how much we give. While we can't always choose the hand we've been dealt, it's not how long our presence lived here on earth, but how long it's felt. By those who live on and learn from our unique gifts that we shared. So let us be gentle with each other, to learn more from each other, rather than feeling angry or scared. We must remember to be gentle, for this life is hard and we cannot get there on our own. Through the gifts of our donors, I am proud to say that with their help, I have grown. We must look for opportunities to learn from each other, from our mistakes and successes. Learn to be humble, learn to be kind, while we travel this path, no matter how it may wind. Treat our patients with the utmost respect, like that of a dear friend, so that this gift from our donors does not have an end. This gift will be re-given to our future patients in the form of our care, and I choose to believe that there is a ripple effect, a paying it forward from there. Be gentle and learn as much as you can. This donor inspired me, and I will carry their words in my heart and be grateful for their generosity, from which my dream got its start. So learn as much as you can and pass it on to others, so that even when we're gone, it is in this spirit each of us will live on and on. Thank you.
Thank you, Kate. Next on our program, we have a special performance by our a cappella group, composed of our first-year medical students, called Do No Harmony, and they are going to be performing an Imagine.
So once again, we are Do No Harmony a cappella. Thank you everyone for coming out today. This is Imagine.
Imagine there's a heaven. It's easy if you try. No hell below us, above us only sky. Imagine all the people living for today. Imagine there's no countries. It isn't hard to do. Nothing to kill or die for, and no religion too. Imagine all the people living life in peace. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you will join us, and the world will live as one. Imagine no possessions. It's easy if you try. No need for greed or hunger. A brotherhood of man. Imagine all the people sharing all the world. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you will join us, and the world will be as one. Live as one. Live as one. Live Imagine, oh, live as one.
Thank you so much to Do No Harmony. We would now like to invite another one of our first year students, Will Capel, to give another student reflection. Will?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Will Capel, and I'm a first-year medical student here at UCLA. Let me start by saying how truly honored I am and humbled to be standing in front of you, the family and loved ones of those who donated to our program. I think I speak for my entire class in saying that today, we join in mourning their loss and in honoring their lives. I've known for a few weeks now that I'd be sharing a few words at the ceremony of thanks, and it has not left my mind since. To be quite honest, I had a difficult time putting together what I was going to say, and that really bothered me because there are so many things to say, like how thankful I am, how much I have learned, and how sorry I am for the loss of someone so dear to your heart. So after a lot of self-reflection and thought, I finally figured out why I was struggling to formulate my thoughts. Usually, at a memorial service such as this, people share something about the lives of those being honored, like their role as a family member, or the people they might have touched, or even a few special memories. Obviously, I am incapable of remarking on these attributes. Although I long to have personally known our donors during their time here on Earth, I only knew them as contributors to the UCLA Donated Body Program. One of the main reasons we are here today is to commemorate and pay respect to their lives. And here is perhaps the most sure and sincere statement I can make toward that point. For our donors to have made such a magnanimous decision, it is a testament to how wonderfully special and admirable they must have been. And I know that those of you joining us today can speak much more about that than I. But I want to let you know that even though my classmates and I did not personally meet your loved ones, we at the core understand that we are paying tribute to a group of tremendous individuals. Let me assure you that their donation was not in vain. Not only did our class strive to respect and care for their bodies in earnest, we also learned an astonishing amount. Their contribution toward medical education will help save lives and treat illnesses for an entire generation of doctors. So this is not the end, but the beginning. And today we dwell upon this and remember their unique and personal gift. To conclude, I'd like to share a short note that I've dedicated to the donors who impacted my life and who helped shape my education. How do I say thank you enough? What words are there to demonstrate how grateful I am? How do I comfort your family and loved ones? What can I say to show them my sincere grief and appreciation? How do I carry forward in my career to make the most of your so generous and selfless act of compassion? I did not meet you during your time alive, but nevertheless, I believe I knew you in some way. Hours and hours spent by your side, you taught me the fundamentals of medicine like nothing else could. You inspired me to become a better physician. You enabled my career, and you made a difference. Today especially, I pay my earnest and genuine respects, remembering that behind your contribution to science, there is an accompanying life story. And together with your family and loved ones, we mourn the loss of that life. But mournful as we may be, we take comfort knowing that your memory and legacy will carry on. For many years to come, your great-hearted decision will contribute toward the healing of many lives. And for that reason, please know that you have already and will continue to touch individuals in unimaginable ways. So really, there is only one thing left to say. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you from the depths of my heart where your memory will remain. It was my sincere honor to know and to learn from you this past year. And may you now rest in never-ending peace.
Thank you, Will. We'd now like to invite again Do No Harmony to perform a second song this morning titled Wanting Memories.
beauty in the world through my own eyes. You used to rock me in the cradle of your arms. You said you'd hold me till the pains of life were gone. You said you'd comfort me in times like these, and now I need you, now I need you. And you are gone. I am sitting here wanting memories to teach me to see the beauty in the world through my own eyes. Since you've gone and left me, there's been so little beauty, but I know I saw it clearly through your eyes. Now the world outside is such a cold